Hey guys, Infidel1258 here. Today we're going to get into another FAQ, which is a frequently asked question video, meaning I'm going to the comment section to see what you guys are talking about. Recently I've been back and I'm creating new content, which is exciting, but that means that, man, it's been it's difficult to go from 0 to 1 video every day. I'm telling you guys, it's like, especially because I want to do these thoughtful videos. And so I'm really grateful that there's been some amazing response to the recent videos I've dropped. Thank you, because your comments are facilitating a conversation that hopefully will be an interesting one to stick around on. And especially because yesterday we did this video, if Splinterlands fails, this will be why. And 36 comments is a big number of comments. 95% approval, 38 likes. Thank you guys, appreciate you. 600 views. That's all really good engagement, especially for Splinterlands, especially for right now, especially after taking a month away. So I know there's a ton of good conversations to be had in there, and I want to kind of mine that a bit. So today will be a little bit focused on one video and the comments that you have around it. I already saw one great comment in there that I really want to look at. I'm not opened or I'm not closed off to responding to other things, but we are going to a little bit focus in on that because I think that's a pretty pivotal conversation piece. If this game fails, why would it fail? I want to hear what you guys think. Okay, before we get into the comments that are on the screen, my name is Dwayne Cunningham. I go by Infidel1258. You can call me 12. Let's go through, I don't know, 3 to 5 comments. We'll see if they're short or long. And yeah, we'll go from there. Stephen Hall 9620. Man, I remember when you said when we were up at 3.5 cents or whatever, and you said we would see 1 cent SPS. I thought you were crazy. Shout out to you for being right. Here we are. Thanks, Stephen. Appreciate that. Yeah, man, it's one of those things where you don't want to be right about something like that, but I did say that, and I said that actually. I think I was talking about SPS could go to a penny when we were still around 20 cents. That would be going way back, and I'd almost have to go find that clip to make sure that that's accurate. It might have been 10 cents or something, but I definitely, I've thought about that for a long time because coins usually go down, at least in prior bear markets. And I know we're in a bull market at this moment, but like I said in that video, you know, the bull market hasn't touched SPS. And so our bear market is still continuing. And so, you know, 99% drops is not entirely unfamiliar from other altcoins during the bear market. I have seen, you know, I followed XRP all the way up to $3.84. And then it went down to, I want to say 10 cents. You know, that sort of drop off is huge, and that's pretty common, and that's a major coin. But yeah, 99% of value disappearing on a altcoin is not entirely unheard of. So I always thought we could go down to 1, and you know, frankly, I wouldn't get scared if we go below it. But I do think we're kind of toward the end of that, and I do think the bull market is yet to come for SPS. At least that's my hope. Philosopher 976 said, "You see the light." Oh, this is a bit of why I wanted to get into the video, specifically on these comments, because there's a bit of, you know, maybe misunderstanding is what I want to say here. Philosopher 976, you see the light. I guess you maybe read maybe he read the title and then just ran with the comment, because he said, I recommend everyone get out and save your assets. Don't be left holding the bag to zero. And so it's as if the conclusion is assuming my belief is that failure is likely or probable or, you know, assured. And by no means, if you listen to the video, I think half of it is me talking about why I'm confident, why I'm, you know, still walking in a degree of confidence for what Splinterlands is currently and what it might become. And then I go into 3 main reasons why we got to be concerned about possible failure. And so, philosopher, yeah, I don't think we're doomed. It's okay if you do. You know, I don't. My belief does not, is not contingent upon the faith of people outside of me. You know, I have my own thoughtfulness about what Splinterlands is. I presented it in that video. Maybe it's not compelling or convincing to you. That's okay. My involvement and my content creation around this is so much more about my description and journey than it is about advice for you anyways. I hope that is helpful, philosopher, and I appreciate you dropping the comment though. So thank you very much. Crypto Beaver, haven't seen you in a while, pal. It's been, I mean, that's my doing because I've been away. But thank you for a really big comment. I saw this was the 3rd comment I have already read. So I read these 3s. I haven't read any others. But this is a nice big comment. And I thought this almost by itself merited a video. And so he has a few things to add with respect to maybe concerns around what Splinterlands might do wrong and might trigger a failure, or maybe things that should be celebrated or noteworthy about where we're at. Let's see what he says. Great review, Dwayne. A few things to add. Number one, our absolute best marketing tool is our community. I totally 100% agree. If we're going to thrive, it's going to be because our community and our core are excited enough, and not just out of a place of like blind faith, but out of a place of actual enjoyment, are enjoying this thing to a place where we can then celebrate it, share it, talk about on X or YouTube or wherever you socially connect with individuals. Our community is absolutely one of the greatest attraction pieces to what Splinterlands is. We can disagree on a proposal, the state of the economy, or the team's progress on specific aspects of the game, but being salty will only deter other people to join in. So it's like shooting ourselves in the foot. I agree. And that's not to say we need to agree with one another. And I think you're saying that too. You know, we can disagree on a proposal or our different takes on the economy or whatever. But the finger pointing that sometimes happens to even now Aggroed, who is not even here to defend himself, by the way, like it sounds to me like that conversation was more Matt coming in and saying, and maybe the board coming in and saying, we want you in, Matt, we want you out, Ag. And it's not out of a place of hatred, I don't think, because there still seems to be some sort of cross balance and cross connection and, you know, cooperation that's happening there, even if it's not direct and sort of shoulder to shoulder in the same ways it was before. So I think when we start finger pointing in some of the ways that we do, I think we need to just ask, what's the benefit of that? Are we going to drag our dirty laundry in the streets for everybody to see? Or are we going to kind of, in certain contexts, raise concerns in a thoughtful way that allows conversation to unfold around it? And that's always been one of the mantras of the town halls, right? Like you hear, Aggie used to say this more, but I always appreciated it. He would say in the town hall something like, you can ask any question you want, but please do so respectfully. Because it's like, you know, you're talking to human beings and we're trying really hard to make our time available for you so that we can unpack these, you know, questions and talking points that you want to raise within the town hall. And so the least we can do is just be respectful about it, or at least amicable. That's the thing. We want to, like, even if we disagree with one another, we want to remain amicable, which is to say, you know, relatively friendly. It's okay if we disagree fervently, but it's, you know, respectfulness should be present. Then he says, Matt, Nate, and the rest of the team have made more progress on the game since Aggie left than any other time, and with much less human resources. I think that's true. The team has shrunk, and yet progress keeps being made. Big things. So the team deserves a lot of recognition and positive feedback from the community. I agree. And I would say, if anything about my video seemed to imply that the tone from the community is too harsh too often, well, hang on a second. How do I want to expand on that thought briefly. I do think we can be too harsh, and I do think that happens too often. But at the same time, I do think we also give a lot of approval, a lot of encouragement, a lot of kudos, especially around Matt, which is so important. Man, I truly believe that Matt's a genius, and I truly believe what he's done here is something unique and special. I think that more respect's probably due to some of the other guys too, including Aggroed, including guys like Bulldog or, Weirdbeard, or, you know, some of the names that were around and really helped. Sure, in a time where some of the progress we wanted to happen didn't happen. But still, man, I think there was some... Yeah, there's something that should, there's a certain amount of appreciation that's probably due to some other team members that isn't necessarily given, and definitely a consistent sort of approval toward those who are still pouring themselves out for the game we enjoy is appropriate. Matt being first and foremost probably, but Nate for sure, Gator, and so on. We are now getting from Matt the right information about their progress versus getting pie in the sky stories from Aggie. That's probably fair. I mean, a little bit. You know, this is a bit of maybe some upset feelings towards Aggie. And I think probably our feelings, here's my 2 cents on the Aggie thing. I think our feelings are confused toward him because of what happened during the bear market. Now, I'm not saying he did an amazing job or everything that he did was perfect or anything like that. What I'm saying is I think we carry a bit more animosity toward him because of the nature of what happened in that window of time under his sort of direct leadership. And that was a rough time, man. That was a rough time for crypto. That was a rough time for our game. And I don't think that that's all on him, but some of it is. Team grew really rapidly. Some of the progress that was planned didn't get executed. The financial concerns around the team's sort of sustainability was really alarming for a window of time. And so, yeah, a lot of that rests on a man like Aggro's shoulders. But, and I do have so much kudos for Matt. Number 4, we need to plan a card burning event ASAP or get rid of the bot farms, as getting rid of the bot farms will overflow the market with dirt cheap cards. Interesting. That's almost a video in and of itself. I don't want to say too much there. Maybe that deserves a separate conversation, but I do think you're maybe pointing at something that makes sense, is what I'll say there. Number 5, we need the battle pass to be more than the right to play in Wild. For instance, 5% ranked battle boost or 5% shop discount, guild parent bonus, scroll pound avatar, 1 free skin when available, 2 extra daily energies. Interesting. 10 potions. Yeah, I could see you've convinced me. Like I'm on board with a really substantive battle pass, and I have been for a while. I think I've been one of the first people, not the first person, but one of the first people to talk about that because I've seen it in other games. And so I'm with you. Number 6, we need card ownership to be acknowledged and rewarded, thus excluding rentals in a form of, yeah, okay, I'm going to finish the sentence, but I think you've already lost me. In a form of ranked battle boost alongside SPS staking, especially as we prepare to increase the staked SPS minimum requirements. Thank you for dropping the comment. So I can see your hope is to really emphasize card ownership as over even card rentalship. Excluding rentals might mean that we stop rentals. And if you want to go that far, I disagree. But if you're just saying, let me track or let my account be rewarded for being an owner. If I own 95% of my cards, I want more rewards than somebody who owns half of their cards. And maybe there's something to be had in there, but you got to remember what they already told us about collection power and how onerous that is to track. Tracking collection power is difficult because there's bandwidth concerns. Like there's a transaction that's happening and they have to use that. Like when you use your cell phone and you go out and you're not connected to Wi-Fi, if you watch a YouTube video, you can rip through a lot of data. Some of you have unlimited data plans, but those of you who have limited data plans, you understand how important it is that we not just go ahead, disconnected from Wi-Fi and download huge content or watch YouTube videos streaming, etc. Why? Because when you do that, you're using up bandwidth, you're using up some of that resource. And the same is true when the team uses their servers through, I think, Amazon to track our collection power. And I've said this once before, but I'll quickly say it again. Checking your collection power one time is not difficult. It's not even very cost expensive. But the problem with collection power is because cards are constantly being added to your portfolio and removed from your portfolio, partly because of card purchase, but also because of card rentals, delegations, etc. All of that means that we can't just check you one time. We can't even just check you one time per day. We have to check you probably almost constantly, especially at least before every battle. Because if your rewards are determined based on how much collection power you own and maybe how much you rent takes away from some of your reward potential, you could see how we would need to check your CP and the card ownership before every battle so that the reward could be either increased or decreased based on your card ownership. And so that is a very expensive process. And so that is why they've said they don't want to track CP anymore. And that's one of the reasons they don't want to track CP anymore. So I'm not sure I entirely agree with point number 6, but I do maybe the heart of it I get, where it's like we want to honor card ownership over even things like card rentalship or borrowing. I do think card ownership is more meaningful. It deserves some sort of onus or advantage. but I'm not sure I agree that we could do maybe, you know, bonuses on terms of reward as a result of it, because that would mean CP monitoring. Okay, that was a big one. Let's see if there's a few more comments, because I want to see if there's any other critiques around what could the game could fall apart. This is a quick comment that's not exactly in the vein of what I'm looking for. I am looking for you guys to give me critiques about why the game would fail, if it's going to fail. But let's read Jackie here. Jackie says Bitcoin to $20,000 within the next months. Now, I didn't exactly say that. I said, and months could mean 3 months or it could mean 18 months. So I maybe implied, I did say 20,000. And I do think it could get that low. But I didn't say within the next like short number of months. I don't know when that would happen. And I don't even think we should start thinking about that happening until we start to see the building of lower highs and lower lows. That would be a trend where we got to start to recognize that Bitcoin is probably now in that moment done for the next bear market. And then we go into a long prolonged bear market and then eventually another bull market. And so I am bullish on Bitcoin for across like the long time horizon, but over the short time horizon, I would not have any interest in Bitcoin. And I want to add to that one further point, because you say I bet against that. I actually expect Bitcoin to reach at least $100,000 in 2025 or even earlier, and that could be so. But I want Jackie, I hope you watch this. I hope more than you to receive this. What I'm about to say to you is something that people I don't get your point. And I'm trying to be respectful. I'm not trying to be rude, but I just really want to hit this one, the nail on the head here. I need you to hear this. Let's say Bitcoin goes to $100,000, and let's say it does it within the next 15 months. Is that a big deal to you? Think about that. You're talking about Bitcoin going from 70,000 to 100,000. You know, a 30% raise or something. Is that why you don't really, I don't think you truly believe 30% would be this crazy amount of increase for Bitcoin, right? You've seen it go from, I've seen Bitcoin go from $1,000 to now $70,000. That is a crazy increase. I've seen other tokens go from a penny to $1. That is a crazy increase. I've seen coins go from a fraction of a penny to, you know, huge figures. Those are the sort of returns that are exciting. And so I'm not saying you're wrong. I think maybe that's possible. I don't really think it's going to happen, but it's possible. I want to, even if it does happen, understand that is such a small amount of gain for what crypto can do. And so I'm talking about I'm not predicting 20,000 for Bitcoin. I'm not predicting 100,000 for Bitcoin. I'm not predicting we're dead or done or anything like that. I'm just saying we need to recognize that Bitcoin will eventually roll over. And I think it's probably sooner than maybe you think, but I'm not saying weeks away, really. I don't really know, though, to be honest. The one piece I feel quite confident about, and maybe this is helpful, if it is, great. It's about looking at trends and watching if Bitcoin establishes a lower high and then a lower low. That sort of trend is often characteristic of a failure to grow, and that is the beginning of a bear market that I would expect for Bitcoin. So that's the piece that I feel the most confident about. When is that going to happen? I don't know. $100,000 seems possible to me. I'm not saying you're crazy or wrong. I just don't think that's even a big deal. Even if it went to $150,000, which is double, who cares? I believe tokens like XRP or SPS could go up 20, 30, 50 times. Forget about double. So that's what I'm talking about. Like that, it's just that I think there's a magnitude of difference possible with some other coins. Let's try and find one other comment. Okay. This looks like a good one too, gathering, but it's just too big for me to roll with. You got 4 thumbs up. I might have to look at this one. Oh yeah. Do we watch one more long one, or do we look for? Okay, good comment. Fusion Sound, and this isn't a critical comment about why we would fail. I was hoping to find one of those, but that's okay. Fusion Sound's got a comment that grabbed my eyes because he's quoting Friedman. the cure for low SPS prices is low SPS prices. Inversely, the cure for high prices is high prices. And that's a quote, famous quote from Milton Friedman, I think it is. It's quoted on the Adam Smith Institute here, but I think it is Friedman quote. Regardless, it's an assertion that's been made by within economics, and what it means in very brief is that the idea of if SPS prices remain low for an extended period of time, they will get bought up at those lower and lower and lower prices. And imagine it keeps falling and falling and falling. It doesn't just stay at a penny, maybe it goes to a half a penny. That is a bad thing for SPS price, but it's also a good thing because you start to get new buyers coming in and acquiring that token. Assuming the argument has to be that if it has sort of sustainability and there's a community around it and there's a reason to believe in its future. And I think Fusion Sound obviously has faith in what SPS is, but I just really love this quote. And I think I love the study of economics. I really find, I never went to school for it, but I just love it. I find it deeply valuable to understand some of this stuff. And I just thought I would touch on that comment before we wrap, because I think he's right. The lower the price goes, the more people will want to buy it. Not necessarily, there will be new sellers too, because certain people panic, but at some point all the weak hands walk away and then you just get diamond hands. That's where that comes from. And it's like the people that are buying now at a penny, I don't think people are going to be selling or liquidating for a penny. I imagine not, because really what's the value? What's the gain? But man, as we start to fall even further, if we fall further, you start to get to this place where people are like, you know what? Let's go. I'm in. And the same thing with high prices. When they get so high, once people stop buying them because they're just too high, and then they ultimately fall. And so that's like free market stuff. And I love that sort of analysis because I think it's absolutely accurate. And sometimes when we see the government stepping in to try and control different industries, whether it's like the dairy industry in Canada or gasoline, and they're trying to, ensure gas prices remain a certain value that's quote unquote affordable, all this sort of government influence is so short-sighted because there's this complicated nature to markets, and you can't possibly understand all the unintended consequences of your choices. If you make beef, the price has to remain at X dollar value for, a cow. Well, then guess what? You might make it so that farmers can't make profit because you need to make it affordable. That's what happens with housing. We want affordable housing in parts of America, like New York City. You know what happens? The houses get run down, and no one wants to live in them because the slumlords are just like not going to take care of them because they don't make any profit on them. So they're going to let them rot, and they'll just get what they can for your use. So houses get rotten and run down. No new construction happens because there's not enough profitability possible within the context of the new construction and then trying to rent it. And so for all that, we're trying to make affordable houses be affordable, but we end up rotting the core of the infrastructure that allows affordable houses to be created. So let the free market reign. The government doesn't get that. Big government doesn't help these problems. And we're going down a rabbit hole now, so I'm going to stop. But Fusion Sound, I love the comment, and thanks, pal. All right, I'm going to leave it there, guys. I'm surprised there was not a lot of. I don't see any. Hang on. Okay, there's one. Animation Station. The game has already failed. He's got 6 thumbs up. I thought maybe there would be somebody with some sort of meat on the bones comment about how or why it would have failed. But no. So that must mean the people that are out there at the diamond ends, and you guys are convinced that this thing has survived to this point. It's going to keep on going. I hope that's so. And I hope we're right. You have to admit, it's not a 100% chance that we're going to go to the moon, but it's also, you can't give me any nonsense about how it's a 0% chance. I'm not hearing it. Thanks, guys. Have an amazing day. God bless.